Right now at 10, one man is dead following a crash near Carl Junction early this morning. Plus, we're going to take you to Landreth Park in Joplin, where a family has combined forces to celebrate our healthcare heroes. Also, after being put on hold for a couple of years due to COVID, the annual gym show is back on in Joplin, and
Gabby Petito's hometown says goodbye at her public memorial. I'm Tom Hansen in Holbrook, New York, with that story.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
A Carl Junction man is killed following an early morning crash just south of the community. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, around 3:15 this morning, 33-year-old Russell Asbell was driving on Highway JJ just south of Carl Junction when his car ran off the roadway, struck a post, overturned, and then ejected him. Asbell was taken to Freeman West, where he later died from his injuries. Warm weather again today, but our change is on the way. Nick Kelly's got that answer.
Well, changes not for the better, Chris, as we're going to try and edge a little bit warmer for the next few days, but at least we kept things pretty good from 7th to range line throughout much of this evening. 59, a chilly start this morning, but a quick jump to 88 degrees. 10 degrees warmer than our average high of 78 degrees as we wrap up our final weekend of the month of September. We've had nothing but clear skies all day long, still looking good across much of the region. And you can see how that south breeze is still in place. It was stronger during the day, but as it lightens up throughout the rest of the night, you can see how temperatures will cool off, but not as chilly as this morning. We'll drop back to about 67 degrees. I'm anticipating some partly sunny skies to work in during the day tomorrow, so that's why I'm thinking 84 by noon and topping out around 90. I still think it's going to be a hot day no matter what, Chris, with that southwest wind kicking back into gear. And like you said, changes are on the way as we go toward the middle of the week. We'll break that down here in a bit.
Well, hopefully those changes include fall sometime soon. Nick, thank you. A local family, one side in healthcare, the other in a form of the entertainment industry, combined forces to give our local healthcare heroes a break from the daily grind. Chris Butler works at Mercy in southeast Kansas, while his son owns Jungle Bounce, hence the bounce houses you see. They decided to combine forces at Landreth Park in Joplin to provide not only the bounce houses, but rock climbing walls, food trucks, and even live music.
And we've seen how the nurses and all the staff in the hospitals have just been inundated with COVID patients working extra hours. So we wanted to give them a day where they could come out, just enjoy themselves with their families, and just have a good time.
This is the first time the family has paired up for healthcare workers. Plenty of four-staters paid a visit to the Joplin Historical and Mineral Museum today for Rockathon. That's the title of the 22nd annual Gem and Mineral Expo, and it was a great opportunity for local collectors to get their hands on rock specimens, fossils, beads, jewelry, and plenty of other cool collectibles. The museum's curator says the expo is also a chance for four-staters to buy gems and minerals from out-of-state vendors.
We have people that come from all over. I believe this time we have some people from Texas, Louisiana, a lot of people from Missouri also. But we have a lot of vendors who have been doing this for many years with us.
The Wiseman also says that this should be the 24th annual Gem and Mineral Expo, not the 22nd, but coronavirus has canceled the last two shows. Well, family, friends, and strangers gathered at a Long Island funeral home Sunday to celebrate the life of Gabby Petito. She was found dead in Wyoming a week ago. Her fiancé is now the focus of a nationwide manhunt. Tom Hansen reports from Holbrook, New York.
Mourners lined up outside a New York funeral home to say goodbye to Gabby Petito a week after her body was recovered in Wyoming. Gabby's father, Joe, spoke about his 22-year-old daughter's adventurous spirit.
She always wanted to go out and do stuff, whether it was scuba diving with her, with her uncle, myself, or hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Petito said he wants people to be inspired by how Gabby treated others, offering these now haunting words of advice.
If there's a relationship that you're in that might not be the best thing for you, leave it now.
Sunday's memorial here in Long Island was open to the public. Petito grew up just minutes away and lived here before moving to Florida to be with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. The massive manhunt for Laundrie entered a second week as searchers continued to comb through some 24,000 acres of a Florida wildlife reserve. The engaged couple's cross-country travels were well documented on social media, but troubled times like this Utah traffic stop were also captured. This 911 call came just before
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Laundrie returned home alone after Gabby's family reported her missing. He refused to help authorities in the search. Now police want to question him about Petito's disappearance. He's also wanted for alleged debit card fraud in the aftermath. Tom Hansen, CBS News, Holbrook, New York.
Now, the coroners ruled Gabby's death a homicide, but authorities haven't yet said how she died. We take this time now to pause and honor one of our many four-state heroes. Sergeant First Class Aubrey Anglin served in the Army in Vietnam, his hometown, Pittsburgh. We're proud to recognize Sergeant First Class Aubrey Anglin, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, to learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own at any time, all you need to do is head over to our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, still ahead on the KOAM News at 10, some Democrats are saying President Biden's infrastructure plan may fail to pass tomorrow. And an Amtrak train derails in Montana, killing 3. The Biden White House's sweeping economic agenda appears to be in limbo, at least for now. On Saturday, the House Budget Committee voted to pass the $3.5 trillion spending bill out of committee, advancing it to the House floor. However, the proposal faces roadblocks, including a lack of backing from some Democratic lawmakers. John Lawrence reports.
A vote on a bipartisan infrastructure bill is still under construction. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who committed to a September 27th deadline last month, now says she won't bring it to the floor unless she has enough support.
You cannot choose the date. You have to go when you have the votes in a reasonable time, and we will.
While Republicans are against the infrastructure bill's price tag,
I will certainly be voting no if the Democrats insist on combining the debt ceiling increase or suspension with the continuing operations of the government.
There's also a stalemate within the Democratic Party between progressive and moderate members over the infrastructure bill's top-line figure and the programs included in the Biden-supported $3.5 trillion spending bill.
We are not going to leave anyone behind. We're not going to leave behind women who desperately need childcare. We're not going to leave behind taking on climate change and taking urgent action. We're not going to leave behind public housing. We're not going to leave behind immigrants.
Democrats have a paper-thin margin in both chambers and need almost full party support for the infrastructure bill to move forward.
After Republicans vote no, Chuck Schumer's going to do what he could have done months ago, what he could have done weeks ago, what he could do tomorrow, and that is he will amend the budget resolution so that Democrats can pass the debt ceiling all by themselves, and that's what should happen.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
There's another looming deadline for Democrats this week. Congress has until Thursday to pass legislation to fund the federal government. At least 3 people were killed on Saturday afternoon when an Amtrak train that runs between Seattle and Chicago derailed in north central Montana, according to officials with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. Dispatcher Star Tyler told the Associated Press that 3 people died in the derailment. She did not have more details. Now, Amtrak said in a statement that there were multiple injuries. The Empire Builder train derailed about 4 p.m. near Joplin, Montana, a town of about 200. Amtrak spokesman Jason Abrams said in the statement that the incident scene is about 150 miles north of Helena and about 30 miles from the border with Canada. The train had about 146 passengers and 16 crew members on board. The train consisted of 2 locomotives and 10 cars, with 7 of those cars derailing. An armed man who was shot at by police at a busy California beach has died. Police in Huntington Beach say they responded to reports of a suspicious man with a gun Saturday near where large crowds of people were watching the U.S. Open of surfing. Now, officers say the man did not comply with several commands. Police then opened fire on the man, who was sent to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. It's unclear how many officers fired. Some witnesses say they heard up to 8 shots. Investigators say they found the gun at the scene. The suspect has not yet been identified. Later on the KOAM News at 10, some folks in Wisconsin are getting into the Halloween spirit a bit early.
But first, we'll break down our forecast, which does include a hot start to the week, but it doesn't say hot all week. Forecast up next. We kept things pretty quiet to wrap up our final weekend of the month of September. It's hard to believe this month's just flying by, but we are going to see temperatures eventually turn back toward fall as we go into the end of the month throughout the course of the week and to start the new month of October by Thursday. In terms of where we were today, though, mostly sunny skies from start to finish, from indigo sky outside of Seneca, Missouri, in fact, all across the area. But with these quiet skies and dry humidity still in place, along with a good south breeze throughout the day, that resulted in quite a jump in temperatures. Upper 70s to near 80 yesterday, dropping back into the upper 50s to lower 60s this morning. Then a big bounce back to 88, 89, 90 degrees across much of the region. We'll have to stay a bit warm to start the week out. But again, like I said before the commercial break, we're not going to stay hot for the entire week ahead of us. From 7th and Rangeline, though, we're keeping quiet outside, 74 degrees at last check with a south wind at 10 miles per hour. Most of us are sitting in the lower to middle 70s now, maybe a couple of upper 60s, believe it or not, already popping up around Stockton Lake. And that's a good idea of where everyone else is going to bottom out throughout the course of the night. Certainly we'll drop back into the mid 60s because the breeze that we had during the day, south, southwest at 15 to 25, occasional gusts near 30. That breeze has lightened up considerably, but it's trying to stay up there a little bit, 5 to 15 miles per hour. That should allow us to drop back into the mid and even some upper 60s as we get your Monday morning started. Nothing out there on the Skywatch storm tracker throughout the entire day, and still as we go through the rest of the night ahead of us. In fact, across the entire four-state region, we're keeping things pretty quiet. Looking at the surface setup, the only big feature driving our weather in the short term is actually the high pressure in the southeast. Even though it's a good distance away, still strong enough to keep that southerly wind in place and cranking it back into gear for tomorrow. But upstairs at the jet stream level, two things driving our weather setup for the next few days. This temporary building upper level ridge that will keep us near 90 for the next few days, and then this upper low causing rain and storms where they can certainly use it out of parts of Arizona and New Mexico. That's what's going to try to start changing things up as soon as we hit Wednesday. In the short term, though, I think there will be some cloud cover that will develop out west and try to roll in as we head into your Monday morning. Still, that'll allow temperatures to drop back around 67 degrees in most spots. But again, mid to upper 60s, a bit mild, but still not too bad to start your Monday morning out. Then I'm anticipating partly sunny skies holding steady throughout the course of the day. Despite that, that southwest breeze kicking back into gear at 10 to 20, occasional gusts near 25 or 30. It's going to mean another hot afternoon. 67 in the morning, 84 by noon. Highs around 90. If we see more mostly sunny skies during the day, though, I think it's a good chance that we'll go into the lower 90s. No matter how we slice and dice it, though, we're going to be a bit hot as we get this new work week and school week underway. Partly cloudy skies hold steady through Monday night and Tuesday morning. And as long as we say dry Tuesday, we'll have highs back near 90. Then the changes coming in on Wednesday. There's the upper low coming out of the desert southwest, passing close by to give us scattered storms for Wednesday and Thursday. Then this upper level setup stays a bit active as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a little chance to dry out by Sunday. If these rain chances can unfold like the future track here is suggesting, that could give us a shot to pick up half an inch to maybe an inch and a half or 2 inches by the time we hit the middle of the week and into the next weekend. It certainly would be promising news since we could use some rain around here. And not to mention the rain chances will bring temperatures back downward after we get past 90 tomorrow and 90 on Tuesday. We'll say mid 80s for Wednesday and Thursday, Chris, and fingers crossed we can have highs back near 80 for next weekend.
Yeah, I'll definitely trade the rain chances for some cooler temperatures. And what I like about this is that rain falls over a period of several days, not a period of several minutes like we sometimes get. So.
I know. Hopefully we can avoid any flooding concerns with these rain chances, but still something I'll watch.
Absolutely. Nick, thank you so much. Turning to sports, Danny is here, and it's another week of surprises in the NFL.
I would say the Chiefs-Chargers game falls under that category. We'll take a look at those highlights coming up. Plus, Pitt State hosts Labette for some fall ball action. That and more next. This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Kansas City Chiefs are looking to get back on track today after falling to the Ravens by 1 point in Week 2. Chiefs at home facing the Chargers. Kansas City held to 3 points in the first half. We'll pick this up in the fourth quarter. Justin Herbert finds Mike Williams for the 20-yard score. The Chiefs respond. Patrick Mahomes flips it to Mecole Hardman. Hardman gets into the end zone from 8 yards out. Kansas City takes back the lead. It's tied with 2 minutes left here. Mahomes gets picked off, his second interception of the game. Chargers take advantage. Herbert goes back to Williams, and the Chiefs go down once again, back-to-back losses, this one 30-24.
I mean, it's not like we weren't doing things the right way like we always do. We just didn't execute whenever it came down to it. And in this league, when you're playing teams like them, like the Chargers, they're a good football team. If you don't execute, you don't win football games.
The Oklahoma Sooners managed to get to 4-0 this weekend, but it wasn't pretty. The Sooners scored a field goal as time expired to top West Virginia 16-13. The offense, led by Spencer Rattler, only found the end zone one time on Saturday. Head coach Lincoln Riley acknowledges that there's a lot of work to be done.
Offensively, we're still kind of trying to find ourselves a little bit. We're not quite there. We opened halves so well and played some of our best ball there. We got to be able to maintain it. I still have zero doubt about what we're capable of offensively, but obviously that's an area. All areas of the team got to get better, but an area there that we've got to take some big steps, and I know we can.
The Missouri Southern Lions were at home on Saturday, hosting the Fort Hays State Tigers. The Lions outscored the Tigers in the second half, but it wasn't enough for the comeback. MSSU falls 42-21. But there were some bright spots. Joplin product Nathan Glades found the end zone twice in the game. He finished with 93 rushing yards. It was also a record-setting day for tight end Keandre Bledsoe. Bledsoe caught 9 passes for 88 yards, and those 9 receptions are the most in a single game by a tight end in Missouri Southern history.
I mean, as we try to find our identity offensively and we try to find the guys that we feel are playmakers and that will really help us out, we got to find ways to put the ball in their hands. And Keandre is one. He's probably one of our best hands guy. And so we got to find different ways to put the ball in his hands.
Pittsburgh State also at home on Saturday looking for their first home win. They got it, a 30-28 victory over Emporia State. It took some work though. Jalen Martin scored the go-ahead TD in the third. The Gorillas able to do just enough on both sides of the ball to finish this one out. The PSU defense held the Hornets to their lowest point total this season.
I'm so proud of them and how they played when we needed them the most. We were getting stopped, and we tried the double pass and gets picked off, and our defense was outstanding. And I'm not sure there was very many explosive plays either that they gave up during that point in time. And we talk about that so often, to make them earn it and make them drive it. And those guys did drive quite a bit, but our defense bowed up, and really proud of those guys.
The Pittsburgh State softball team takes the field today for some fall ball action. The Gorillas play 3 games this fall. Today is their second. PSU hosting Labette today. Bottom of the second, Gorillas up 1-0. Corey Stone Street to deep center field. That's a 2-run home run. Next inning is a big one for Pitt State. Paxton Hayes to the back wall. This will be a ground rule double as it hops over the fence. 2 score, and it's 5-0. Keila Griffith now gets a good piece. PSU just pouring it on. That's a 2-run double. And capping off the inning, Gabby Schultz crushes this ball. Over the trees it goes, a 3-run blast. As they play this one out, Gorillas score 17 runs, a big win over the Cardinals. That brings us to our one and only break in the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. Still ahead, the Cardinals aim to keep their impressive win streak alive in the series finale against the Cubs. Those highlights next. Welcome back to the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The St. Louis Cardinals set a franchise record on Saturday after tallying their 15th straight win. Cards going for the 4-game sweep against the Cubs today. Paul Goldschmidt in the third launches this ball 464 feet to center field. That's his 31st of the season. Later, Cards trailing in the 8th, Harrison Bader ties it up with a solo shot. And then bases loaded in the 9th, St. Louis brings in a run off the wild pitch. That will be for the lead. They hang on. The streak lives for another day. It's a 4-2 win at Wrigley. Royals going for the series win against Detroit today. Good start, Andrew Benintendi brings Whit Merrifield home off the single. Chris Bubich doesn't let anything by him today. He gets six strikeouts, pitching 7 scoreless innings. And in the 9th, Royals up 2-0, looking for some padding. But Will Castro makes the leap at the wall to rob the home run. Detroit with one more chance, down by 1, bases loaded. Scott Barlow gets the final out and the save. Royals win 2-1. Heading into the final day of the Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits, the United States entered the day with a 6-point lead. Dustin Johnson goes 5-0 over the 3 days. Colin Morikawa claims the decisive half point on Sunday, and the United States get the win. They needed at least 14.5 points, but the U.S. sets a record for most points, beating Europe by a score of 19-9. We'll be right back.
Well, people came out in Altoona, Wisconsin today to get in the fall spirit and check out some massive squash, also known as the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Pumpkin growers from around the state gathered for the 3rd annual River Prairie Pumpkin Festival to show off their giant gourds. Now, after taking in the pumpkins, people enjoyed other pumpkin-themed activities like a pumpkin run and pumpkin decorating. There was also a rubber duck race for kids. Now, one of the pumpkins on display today beat a state record. Grower Michael Paul's pumpkin weighed in at 177 pounds. That is a hefty pumpkin. I would not want to carve it or have to get all the stuff out of a 177-pound pumpkin. Just saying.
I wouldn't either.
Danny, you want to carve a gigantic pumpkin?
You know, last year I got a really big pumpkin and it rotted in like a day. I don't know what was up with it. Very disappointing.
177-pound pumpkin rotting.
It was not 177 pounds.
That's good. That's good. 177 degrees, not in our future, thankfully.
Thankfully not, but we do have to send highs back near 90 for tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll keep both days dry, but once we hit the middle of the week, Chris, I'm expecting rain chances to come back into play. Rain chances that we could certainly use.
Nick, thank you. Danny, quick check in sports.
I keep wondering when this Cardinals win streak is going to come to an end, but they just
Hopefully
keep
not.
rolling.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't come to an end.
Great to see.
That would be. Thank you all so much. That's our time for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.